everyone. It's Friday, June 2nd, and forgive me for the shakiness in yesterday's video and in today's video. I actually forgot my tripod again, so just bear with me. Something really cool just happened. So I released a new podcast episode today, and it was called You're on the Right Track. It's episode 171 of Tiny Leaps. Go check it out. And something really cool happened. See, I sort of recorded this as a real thing that I've been thinking about and concerned about, and it's relevant to my life, but it was one of those episodes that I sort of viewed almost as a throwaway, right? It's something I'm recording to get out. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest quality. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest episode, but I want to get it out and hit my goal. And sometimes I have those episodes that aren't necessarily like, this absolutely has to go out, but are more just like, I said I'm going to release an episode, and so I'm going to release an episode. But what happened is that that episode went out, and people are now saying that they haven't had an episode that has spoken to them as personally as this episode, and that it's exactly what they needed to hear this morning, and it's helping them sort of battle their own self-doubts. And it's incredible to me how those things that you don't sort of view as perfect end up being the thing that resonates the most with somebody else. And I think it just goes back to this whole concept of documenting over creating that Gary Vee sort of created, and I talked about in a previous episode of the blog. I think it goes back to this concept of just not placing judgment on your ideas, not placing judgment on the things you do, because maybe it doesn't mean that much to you. Maybe it's not a great idea in your mind, but that doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to get an enormous amount of value out of it. And that's what seems to be happening with this episode. I hesitated to even release it. I hesitated to even put it up because I thought, the background noise is really frustrating, and the sound itself isn't great, and the content seemed kind of half-assed in my mind, and it just wasn't the polished product that I personally like putting out, because I'm an artist, and as an artist I want to put out great work. The problem is that you can't always define what great work is. Great work is meant to be defined by the person consuming it, not by the person creating it. All you can do is put the work out there and see what happens. These are all really, generic personal development ideas, but there's a reason that they're generic, because it works. It's true. You can't judge the quality of your work very well. You just sort of have to create work, put it out there, and let the world decide whether or not there's anything of quality to be taken from it. So that's what happened here. I got the episode out. It's called You're on the Right Track, episode 171 of the podcast. Highly recommend you go check that out. And people are writing back to me and saying this episode really is helpful. And that happens from time to time, but it doesn't happen with every episode. So there's something really special about that, and there's something really interesting about that, and there's something really humbling about that for me, because I don't talk about this often, but the fact that anybody is listening to what I have to say or watching what I have to say is mind-blowing. It's huge. So I'm gonna keep just putting stuff out. I'm gonna be ramping up on putting more stuff out, both across audio and video and Instagram and hopefully articles. And I'm gonna stop placing my own judgments on the quality of that stuff, because I think one person out there can get a lot of value out of the message, and if that's the case, then it's worth putting out, even if it's not the most polished product. So with that said, again, it is Friday. That's my takeaway. That's what I'm dealing with. That's the interesting thing that has happened today. I'm on my lunch break right now. I'm actually out in the courtyard area, about to just get some sun and enjoy the 30 minutes to an hour that I have. Probably queue up some Instagram posts and get some work done, because that is an important part of this, is work and getting attention. So I'm going to sign off. I'll see you in the next episode. I haven't decided if I'm going to be doing episodes on the weekends yet. I may not, and so if that's the case, I'll see you on Monday. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.